Well, hey, what's up, everybody? This is the professor, and I am joined by the warrior queen right there. She is right there, and we're going to do a movie review. What movie are we going to talk about?
Finding Fanny.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was very funny. I thought it was charming and clever. And the only thing, from my standpoint, the only thing that bothered me about it, was that there seemed to be some forced profanity, and by that I mean I understand that sometimes movies have profanity. I get that, and Lord knows that there are tons and tons of American movies that have all kinds of profanity. Sometimes it's in context, like if it's a war movie, then the profanity is in context, but sometimes it seems like it's put in there to try to appeal to a certain audience, I guess. And that's how it felt this time in Finding Fanny. The profanity that the character named Savio, he was the one that swore quite a bit. It seemed very, very contrived and very forced. Like the movie would have been just as good without any of the profanity. It felt like it was out of place and like I said, contrived. And so that was my only real criticism of the movie, because I thought it was really very charming and funny.
Well, I think the reason we saw that is this is the first Bollywood film that I've noticed that wasn't made for the Indian. It really seemed like this film was made for the American. It was made for our audience. It was really trying to capture, I think, American sensibilities in the storytelling. I enjoyed the movie. I thought the movie was good. There were 4 scenes that I thought were really funny that I laughed out loud. Number one, the dead cat.
That was very, very funny because it was unexpected.
They threw that cat out of the car and it hit the tree and died. That was funny.
And then kept it in the car for
Yes.
most of the movie because Rosie didn't know it was dead.
Number 2 and number 3 is the little boy in the countryside who every time he saw Savio gave him one of these, gave him the
But
middle
didn't you
finger.
expect when he saw him the third time that he was going to do it?
Yes.
Actually,
yes.
what I thought was going to happen when Savio saw him the third time, I thought Savio was going to flip him the bird, but there was no bird flipping that time.
That struck me extremely funny. The fourth thing that I laughed out loud at was when they shoot the artist in the head, and nobody realizes they shot him in the head.
That was, again, that was kind of a twofold thing.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know they shot him in the head, nor did they know when the car was going out of control and the door opened that he flew out of the car and fell into the ocean. So they had no idea that had happened. They assumed once the car stopped and he was gone that he had taken the bus to get away from them and go back to town. They didn't even know that he was dead and that he's at the bottom of the ocean, weighted down in a fishing net.
Yes. This was your first time that you were ever exposed to Dimple. What did you think of Dimple?
Oh, I thought she was, I hate to say it again, charming. I thought that she was charming. I know that initially her character was supposed to be kind of overbearing and bossy and whatnot. And let's face it, all of us know people that are like that, where they want to take control over everything. And it's often not because they're a mean person or they're nasty. It's often born out of tragedy, which is what the case was for her. Her husband had left her for another woman and her son had passed away. And so she was trying to gain some measure of control over her life. And so it kind of manifests in she's controlling over everybody's lives, but she's really doing it out of a sense of, love and concern for people. So I thought she was great. And you could just kind of see the shift in her character when the artist is painting her. And she thinks this is going to be totally different than what it is. And of course, so do we at that point. We think it's going to be something totally different. And it turns out this guy is not just, arrogant. He's a total jerk. And what he paints is, not just this fat, grotesque, naked woman, but he paints it as though she's like a demon, and you can see that really hurt her, because she really honestly hasn't seen herself as being meddling or interfering. She sees herself as being caring and full of concern for people. So I liked that her character shifted, and I knew, I think it was the scene before the painting actually started, when she was being nice to Ferdy. I figured that by the end of the movie that they would end up married, so I was glad to see that.
Dimple is an institution. I saw her in Bobby, which was it's a legendary film in India, and she knocked it out of the park. She is one of my favorite actresses in Bollywood. Anything that I've seen her in, she always carries the part and does it well. I enjoyed the film all the way through. I mean, I don't want to give away how it ends, but it was a good ending. I mean, you kind of did.
I gave away a little bit.
Yes, but when he's searching, when Ferdy is searching for his true love, what was her name?
Fanny. They're finding
yes,
Fanny.
Yeah, of course.
And they do find
yes,
Fanny. They do find her.
Yes, Fanny. Fanny.
They do find Fanny.
And it was a good film, and I really felt, didn't it have kind of like an American sensibility to it? Did it feel kind of like that you could have plugged in Meg Ryan and you just like and carried through?
Yes and no. The difference would have been is that if this were an American film, it would have been much more crude and much more rude. And so that was one of the things that drew me to the movie, was that there are a lot of American movies that kind of fit under the category of romantic comedy, and we often don't go see them because they're usually very crude and crass.
Right.
And what appealed to me about this movie was that it's the story that you want to see. It's a very cute, charming story, without all of the crude, crass, grotesque stuff that ends up being in a lot of American movies. And so that's why I say I wish that they hadn't put the swearing in there, because it really was out of place. It wasn't even necessary. You could have done without it. But the movie itself was just really cute. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. It was a good time. It was funny. I was surprised that Dave and Sam from the Controlled Chaos channel did not like the film when I talked to them.
Hi, Dave and Sam. I talked to Sam on Facebook the other day. He's a very nice young man.
Yes, he is. They're both very nice young men. I was surprised because I really enjoyed the film, and that's what kind of made me think, like, if the average Indian looked at it and said, that this is probably meant more towards to draw us into the tent, I think.
Well, maybe if they know that the Warrior Queen liked it, maybe they'll change their opinion.
I don't know. So what kind of grade would you give this film?
I would give it an A-.
A-.
The minus because of the swearing.
An A. So if there's no swearing, you give this thing an A.
Yes.
I grade pretty hard on the films. I'm going to say that this is a B+ film.
Okay, well, listen, I just want you and everybody else to know.
If they had Kung Fu, it goes straight to an A.
No.
If there was some Kung Fu.
No.
Just
No,
Servio
listen.
was a little cantankerous.
Savio. His name was Savio.
If he could have done a little bit of kata, maybe a little bit of wada.
Listen,
Wada.
hard grader. I homeschooled our son all 12 years, and I was a very tough grader. It served him well because he is extremely, what's the word that I'm looking for? Prepared for college, and he has done extremely well in college.
Is this a humble brag?
It is the humble brag. It's just to say that my grade is probably more accurate than yours.
Nonsense. I am the professor. This is Movie Community College, and this is the beauty of having a chair on wheels. Goodbye, Warrior Queen.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That way you can stay up to date on all of our shenanigans and videos. Thank you.